All right. So what right now we're watching Mr. Gavin and the crew teaching a basic class. It looks like there's about 10 kids in class and 3 instructors. Get Mr. Gavin.
So the way this is going to work, we're going to come down to the way.
I like how you're having to move the whole time while you're talking.
Down or switch steps down house step. Right.
So right now,
So you
see how Mr. Weller press pause. You see how Mr. Weller is coming to help you when he sees what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Ask him, Mr. Weller, can you grab 3 rectangle bags and put them in front of the lines? Okay, guys, here's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That way you don't have to do it and kind of talk at the same time.
Yeah.
Do less, conduct more.
Mm-hmm.
Right? All right, keep going.
So we're in our guard stance. You pick across the strong line. Doing that 3 times. How many times?
Good. I like how you repeat that.
As you run back your line, you're going to stop in front of these bags here to do 3 strong sit-ups. All right, so that means you're going to sit down, right, put your feet on either side of the bag, lay on your back. You're going to sit up and do 2 hand fists. Three times, and run to the back of your line. Can you do your team? Yes. Sure. Move this when you're running down. That makes sense? Sure.
Okay, so the only thing I would do here, a little bit different, you see how that kid in the middle is a little confused? I would have one of them demonstrate from the cone to whatever they want to do and back. I'm not sure right now, are they supposed to do that hammer fist thing first? Or are they supposed to do the kick first? I'm just not sure, even watching it. Right?
Okay.
So demonstrate actually what it's going to look like from front to bottom, top to bottom, not just like, because I'm just not sure. You see how it can be a little confusing?
Yeah, definitely.
And I think I would put those targets behind the line. That way, the people don't have to wait for them to do sit-ups. They can do sit-ups in the back of the line.
Okay. Well, we actually had it where after the first person did their kicks on the bag, once they got to the sit-ups, then the next person could go right away. So
okay, cool. All right, that's
cool. That way.
Yeah. Yeah. And like right now, okay, so right now you have Mr. Weller. He's supposed to watch how many bags?
He didn't really give him instruction on that, but yeah. I guess he was kind of watching the 2.
Yeah, which is like really impossible for him to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have those parents all sitting there playing on their phones, and you have 2 parents watching on the side over there. I don't know if one of those is Mr. Fred. I can't tell. It might be, but oh no, he's in the reggae. But I would put Mr. Weller in the bag, put you on the bag or someone else in the bag, and then have the parents one of the parents watch him jog the whole time and do sit-ups.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Fred who's hanging out right there. Right now, you have Mr. Weller watching too. Now this girl's doing something wrong, and like he can't help her. Now this other kid's gonna run, and this kid's a white guy. I don't know if he'll do it. Oh, so he did it wrong. Actually, no, maybe he did. Yeah, that's what he's supposed to do. So he's supposed to do switch front leg round.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. Well, he did it right. But you see, like if he did it wrong, it might be difficult to help him, right? Or he might get missed.
Yeah.
You gotta have someone watching each bag, and use the rest of your weapons. Right now, it's like Mr. Weller's all over the place. You see that?
Yeah.
And it's not his fault. He's just stretched too thin. All right, skip ahead a little bit. Do you have any questions about that? Like, do you agree with that?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's yeah, I think my thinking for this was kind of like we've been doing this kick for months now. So with the exception of a few of the newer white belts, like they've all pretty much got it. So it was less I don't know if less important is quite right, but we didn't need to have quite as much emphasis on having someone on each bag, making sure everyone did each one perfectly, as opposed to just keeping the line moving.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, I totally get that. Let's just make sure, like, because even the kids that have been there for a while, or know it pretty well, still someone's gonna mess it up,
Mhm,
right? And
sure.
the parents watching, and they know they're messing it up, but thinking, huh, no one's helping them, right? So
All right.
I keep going.
So we did this drill. This was a good chunk of the class, with 3 different rounds. Um, so we did probably, yeah, 10 minutes of it roughly, where we got back in our lines. Do you want to see more of the same like drill, or should we skip ahead to the next section?
Right here's fine.
We are going.
So I shuffled a few people around to get partners.
So here's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna start off practicing our jab cross. See, we are going for speed. I say speed. Speed. All right, so we are punching fast. That's one. So for first round, we'll use one or zero cards. So Mr. Well and I are partners. He's got that target. Both going to be inner guard stance. He's not showing it yet. He does show the target. Jab cross. So breaking up the rhythm a little bit. We're breaking up the rhythm a little bit. So you're not just showing it all the time. All right. We're doing 10 of these. How many? 10. And then we're going to switch it. I would hold the target while he does his 10 jab crosses. After that, we're doing 10 lunges. And so stepping back, trying to keep down, and switching. Moving. Sound good, team? Are you sure?
Good demonstration. They all organize. Instructors seem like they're obviously helping, but still give them direction, especially if it's like junior instructor.
On your
Mhm.
right hand. Slide on your right hand. Just right hand. So, other hand. Turn the wrist the other way so that your arms get distracted. Face partner. Turn our face partner the way. Say hi. How are you? Right. And stand up. Everyone, natural stance. Right leg back, hands up. Right knee. So you're doing 10 punches. 10 punches. Then you're doing 10 lunges together, and then go. All right, let's see it, team. Go, go, go.
Okay. So like if you want your instructors here to work more efficiently, what can you do?
Give them something to be on the lookout for. Give them specific.
Yeah. So what could you tell them here for this movement?
Make one, make sure students are bouncing the whole time. 2, biggest thing, or one of the big things that I've been saying that we need to work on is snapping our hands back to our chin after we punch. So make sure they're not just punching and letting their hands drop, pulling them back, and staying in that guarding stance the whole time.
Cool. So yeah, so I tell instructors, all right, good strategy. You're gonna look for these 2 things. Mr. Weller, you're gonna watch this first 4 right here. Miss Barbie, you'll watch these 4 right here.
Mr. Weller was actually working with a student because we had an odd number.
Got it. Okay, cool. So I'd say Miss Barbie, you're gonna watch over here. Mr. Weller, you're gonna watch your team, and the team right next to you or something.
Okay.
I'll keep up with those. Yeah, all right, keep going. Or get a parent to work with that kid, preferably, and or like, who do you think is more valuable like helping out the students in this situation?
Mr. Weller probably would have been.
Yeah, so Miss Barb should be the partner, and Mr. Weller should be the one.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, you can skip ahead.
All right, now, this time, we're only doing 5. How many?
So this kid is sitting in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah. I should have called that out.
Pitch, then this part's going to hand the target to me. I'm going to hold it for her for 5 picks. Then we're going to do 5 push-ups together. All right, 5 super strong, super fast, and back on feet and feet.
Yeah, he's one that like he's relatively new. He's been with us for a month or so, and like he does that a lot where he'll kind of like stretch out and not be sitting locked up. And then I've reminded him about it a handful of times, so I think he's started catching himself.
Okay, and you're not gonna catch every single thing every single time.
Yeah.
Right. Just watching a recording is like obviously easy. Everyone could be a Monday morning quarterback and tell you what they would have done better. Right. So, but he fixed it pretty quickly. I mean, that might have been like 10 seconds. Like maybe you're going to tell him at the end of your little speech, and then he fixed it.
Yeah.
So.
Sound good, team? Yes, sir. Are you sure? Yes, sir.
They're concentrating on me and the houses. We should be.
And one more thing, team. Everyone say, feed the target.
Feed the target.
So that means that Miss Bard is kicking, and she does a switch step, she does a round kick, right? And my arm goes flying over here, right? I'm not being a good target. I've got to hold this target nice and steady for her, right? So when she kicks it, I'm going to push in a little bit as she kicks it, pushing towards her kick. That way my arm doesn't go flying, and I stay in control, and we're ready to go.
The other thing is, if you notice, I missed the target on the first kick. So Mr. Gavin answered the target holder would have lowered the target.
This is what we talked about the other day. Don't let her just add on after everything I said.
She doesn't need to give her 2 cents every time you talk.
Round 2, we'll grab one target, slide on your left hand this time. Left hand.
Left hand, that's
Closer to the sharp. There you go. Stop going back.
now the left hand is for these guys is the one close.
Natural stance. Right back hands up. Aya! Like can everyone start bouncing? Start bouncing. Remember we're doing 5 hits and switch. 5 hits, then 5. Sweep back. Go, go, go.
Yeah, see this kid like on the all the way on the left, he's holding it. I could I'm pretty sure he's kicking wrong. He's kicking with his toes, not his shoelaces.
Yeah, I've been working with him a lot to try to get that to improve. It's one of those things that he's one of the students that just really struggles with it. So
okay,
feels like no matter how often you try to fix it, it goes back right away.
Yeah. Well, then what I would do for that situation is bring him over to the parent after class. I'm like, hey, here's what he's struggling with, and we try to fix it a bunch of times, and he just needs more practice at home. So I would show the parent exactly what you mean with the target, have him do it, and say, hey, can you practice this 10 times a day before you come to class next? Right?
Yeah.
Just give him it doesn't have to be anything crazy, just like some easy, quick homework. Okay, you can skip ahead.
Guys, that is. Everyone stand up. Everyone ready, back hands up. And remember, team, as we're throwing our punches, not throwing them full force or full speed, you don't want to hurt a partner. 30% out. Same thing with the pitch, not smacking the focus. Moving up the legs. Everyone got it? Everyone start bouncing. Make sure you keep that right leg back. And let's go.
And they're doing a good job moving the whole time. Like I like that. The instructors are moving around. Like overall, it's good. Okay, you can skip ahead.
Switch that. Wow. That's hit. That's for hit.
So this was the last round of this drill. Doing our switch to ground and universal blocks.
Yeah, let's switch to that.
Switch. Everyone give us blood and flex. Flexing, strong. Everyone got it? Let's try that again. Everyone got it? So you burpees, you come in 5 times, you come in 5 times, then 5 burpees, back and feet. Okay. Everyone stand up. On your feet. Face partner. Rally back, hands up.
Remember to bow, have them bow and tag hands to show courtesy and respect.
Okay. Yeah, that's not something I do, but I should.
Yeah, try to add that in there. I know it's like a habit you have to build because you're not used to doing it, but yeah, bow, tag hands. That's our culture.
Sure.
Do good with the blocks though. Yeah, all right, you can skip ahead. I want to hear is this the announcements?
Yeah.
Let me hear him. Turn up the volume.
Parents, tell them, hear me? Fantastic. So just in full of so we are approaching the end of the month. There's still a little bit of time left to do our rainbow challenge. Remember the goal of our rainbow challenge is for students to be able to have 5 different colors on their plate. If you take a picture of it, click on picture or get into the month of May. All throughout May, moms get trained. May class really the entire just talking to get you started. And team, if your moms get on the mat, take class lesson, you will get to earn a star for your uniform. Everyone's like, oh yeah. In addition to that, May 6th, that's Saturday, right? We're having a free lunch and punch class for moms and kids. Some of you get down that with your kids, teach some Friday moves, a little bit, and at the end, he gets. All right, sign that is up on the door. It's door and that's everything. Everyone stand up. Yes, sir.
Did you talk about Moms in May there? It's hard to hear you. You might have.
Yeah, I did. And I don't know if you heard them all say, "Oh yeah," but
Okay. Cool.
that was held up the star, and if
Okay.
your mom trains in May, you get a star for your uniform. Everyone say, "Oh yeah."
Perfect. Okay. Cool. So it's like muffled, but you can hear yourself better. I'm assuming than I can.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna stop you there. What are your biggest takeaways from watching this?
Biggest thing is making sure I'm using the team right. Mr. Weller is definitely more of a valuable person to have giving feedback than Miss Barb is. So, make sure I'm being smart about where I'm putting each one of them, and giving them specific stuff to be on the lookout for. That's still something I struggle with.
Okay, cool. And it's obviously there to make your life way easier.
Mhm.
And our students way better. They'll be better because they have someone else helping them know what to look for.
Yeah.
Any other takeaway that you feel like, oh, like I could actually implement this and do this right now?
Not really.
Yeah, I feel like if you like just take that away, like, all right, today during classes, you just do a better job of having the instructors know
Yeah.
what they're for, and you give them a job the entire time, it'll be better. Even right now after class, I'd say, well, Mr. Weller, you're gonna watch them battle off the mat. Miss Barb, you're gonna give high fives on the way out, find out when they come back to class next, or help people register for the Moms in May. You'll walk around the clipboard and help them sign up. Great. Maybe Mr. Fred's in a lesson or he's not there at the moment. Awesome. Great. Do that.
Mhm.
But give them jobs to do the entire time. They should never be just standing. Cool?
Yeah. Cool.
Anything else you want to review or talk about?
Not really. I sat in on that presentation the other day.
Oh, yeah. How's that?
It was interesting.